what's new in Asana February 2026? The first one is Asana Gemini Workspace connector. So if you use Google Gemini on your day-to-day to create content, to work on different aspects, you can now connect Asana to Google Gemini. And what that would allow you to do is take your information from Asana. So Gemini will be able to take a look at a task description, or it will be able to take a look at a project and then create whatever you've asked it to do based on the information within Asana. It's in its very early stage of development. So right now, that's the only thing that we can do. I'm confident that in the future, we'll also be able to ask Gemini to create projects or tasks within Asana. But for now, we can read that information and then use it without having to leave the tool. That's available for personal, plan, and app. And then, I'm going to switch to Gemini to show you how that looks like. So once you are in Gemini, the first thing that you're going to need to do is integrate the Asana app. So how would you do that? You would go to settings and help. And once you are there, you'll navigate to connected apps. So within connected apps, you're going to see any of your Google Workspace connected apps. But if you scroll down, you're going to have a set of additional ones over here, like GitHub, Asana, HubSpot, Mailchimp, and Salesforce. So what you're going to need to do is enable this toggle over here, and that will ask you to authorize to the applicable workspace. And then you can go and create a new chat and ask it to take a look into Asana. So I have this example over here. And if you take a look at the prompt that I gave, it is a very simple one. But what you need to ensure are two things when you are doing that you add mention Asana so that then Gemini can actually connect to the app and locate that task in this case. And if you work with multiple workspaces like we do, because we work with our clients' workspaces, just ensure that you let it know exactly in which workspace it should look for. It should look for that task, for example. So I've asked it over here to please create a blog draft based on the description of an Asana task that was assigned to me, which is create summer blog post for sunscreen. And then that description had some guidelines on if it needed to be a short blog, exciting one, to keep a fun tone. So then Gemini was able to locate that task in Asana, read through the description, and then was able to create that blog draft for me. So a cool item if you're used to using Google Gemini and you also use Asana, now you can locate Asana aspects, Asana objects directly within Gemini. When you are writing your prompt and you do the add mention Asana, you'll see how it will appear over here. So you'll select it and then you'll type whatever you want to for your prompt. So that's it on that update. The next one that we would like to show you, that I would like to show you, is the schedule triggers in rules. And this has been one that customers have asked for a lot and also made me very happy when I learned about it, because we can now have Asana rule triggers based on schedule time that occurs in our workflows. So if by the 21st of each month you need to submit an invoice, or if the first week of the month you need to post a project status update, you can now tell Asana, hey, on this specific date and on this specific time, you should create a new task. Because it's a new feature, that's the only rule action that we'll be able to take at the moment to create a new task. But again, I'm very confident that in a few weeks or month, we're going to be able to use that trigger with any of the rule actions that Asana already has in place. So that feature is available from starter plan and above. So if you have any of the Asana paid plans, you'll be able to see them if you navigate now to your rule builder. So how will that work? I have a project over here. As you know, every time that you need to create an Asana rule, we're going to go and navigate to the customize button of the project. And then we'll go and create a new rule. We'll add that. And then again, depending if you have AI Studio or not turned on, you may see a different screen, but we're going to start from scratch to build a regular rule. In this case, we're not going to be using AI Studio. So if we click on our trigger, the box to the left, then we'll now see that we have the new trigger, which is schedule time occurs. So once we select that, what we'll be able to define is, okay, when do you want this to repeat? You can either do daily, weekly, monthly, or a custom if at that that needs to happen, I don't know, once every 2 months, for example, you would do custom. So let's do custom in this case. We could say every 2 months, and then on a specific date of the month, we could say. So on the 21st, every 2 months, at I don't know, 4 p.m., this rule is going to trigger. So if you want to add a condition, you won't be able to do that again because, as I mentioned, it's a very new feature, and we'll jump directly into the action. And as you see for now, what we can do is create an Asana task. So when we create a task, we can then define, okay, what's going to be the title of that task. We can use variables as we've seen with any custom field from that project, or using the trigger date. And then we can define other aspects like assignees, due dates, or even the description or subtasks for that new task that is going to be generated. So that's schedule triggers. And again, they will be useful for any recurrent process that you have within Asana. You may have used recurring tasks. There are some limitations with recurring tasks. Sometimes you mark the task complete, there's a new one that gets completed and it duplicates subtasks, or the due date of the subtasks don't get updated, or you get description from the task from the past month where you don't needed that. So this is another way to think about these reoccurring workflows and to automate what tasks should be generated based on that. So if you want to give it a try, you can go into your rule builder and you should have that enabled as well. This is a small one, not a crazy update, but I think an update that allows teams to save a lot of time. We are now able to duplicate portfolios. So if you are on an advanced or enterprise or enterprise plus plans, you will have the option on any of your portfolios to duplicate your portfolio. So if you're starting the new year or a new quarter and you don't want to create a new portfolio from scratch, including all the custom fields, all the rules, or the link project templates to that portfolio, you can now duplicate it. I'm going to open up a portfolio. I've already have it open over here. It's an upcoming events portfolios that it houses event projects. And as you see over here, this portfolio has already been customized, right? So we have a field for project cost, for priority, which are overdue tasks, milestones, progress, the event budget, the audience. So because we already have all of that, we will duplicate this portfolio rather than creating a new one from scratch. If we click on the small arrow next to the portfolio name, we'll now see the option to duplicate. And as we select that, we'll be able to add a new name for our portfolio and then decide which portfolio details and tabs we want to duplicate. If we want to keep it exactly as it is, or if we want to customize it. So let's say, for example, we don't want to add members for now, we can remove that. Or we don't want to add the rules, we just want to do tabs with the custom fields, then we disable that. Depending on your needs, you would select those checkboxes and then you would click create new portfolio. And in a matter of a minute, I would say, you'll have the duplicate portfolio created, respecting the same custom fields with the filters, the tabs, and any other detail that you decide to save. So now you can just work on adding your projects to the portfolio, or you may already have an automation in place that converts a task into a project and adds it to a portfolio, or the setting in the project template to ensure that a project always gets added to a specific portfolio. So great update, small one, but a great one to save us and teams some time. Our next one is goal notification management. So this is specifically for goal members, goal admins. So now you can decide who is going to get status updates and comments if all your members, or specifically for the different members, you are able to do that as well. So that's available again for advanced and above plans. And how that is going to work, I can open up a goal. I already have that open in here. So you see it's a goal for Q1 of this year. And if I go to share that goal, and I click on that blue button, now I'll have the option to manage notifications. So in this goal, I have 3 different members, and I also have the complete operations team in Asana. When I go manage notifications, I can define either for myself or for the team or the individual members if they are receiving both goals, status updates, and comments, or if they should only receive status updates. For example, we can disable the comments, or likewise with status updates. So you can get more granular with type of notifications your goal members need to view, need to receive. Our next one is reference custom fields in rules. So we've been showing you reference custom fields in the past webinars because, again, a new feature. And the update this month is that now we can use those reference custom field in rules. So whenever you update a reference custom field, and just to recap, those custom fields allow you to link an object in Asana with another one. So for example, a task with a project, or a task with a portfolio, or a task with a task. The relations are multiple. They could be multiple different type of objects. Now we can define that if those custom fields get updated, we can trigger a rule in Asana, and we can actually use those values in a comment, for example, by using the rules variables. If we navigate back to our customer webinar project, we're going to create a new rule. But before doing that, I'm going to show you that I have a reference field over here. So in this case, this is a related deal reference field. If I open that, you're going to see that I'm listing tasks, in this case, only tasks, that is my source, and tasks coming from a CRM test project. So if I have a new task in my project and I click on the related deal custom field, I can link it to any of the existing tasks in that CRM project. So I could do this one, for example. Right now, there's not a rule. So nothing happened, right? But we're going to go and create a new rule to see how that looks like. So we can navigate to rules. We can click add. And then when we start from scratch, we will now be able to either select the reference custom field in the trigger. So if we scroll down, we're now going to find the related deal custom field. And as you see, this is a new trigger, a new field option that has been added. And what we are able to do over here is when the field is changed or when the field is clear. Those are the 2 available triggers that we have. And if we go to the action, what we would be able to do is, of course, any action of the project. So see, for example, if the related deal is changed, we want to assign it to a specific person because we now know that this task is connected to that one. But we could also post a comment, for example. And if we post a comment, this is what I liked a lot, is that we can use the value of that reference field in the comment of the task. So we could say, for example, hey, assignee, to notify the assignee of this task. So we're going to do people, assignee, and default. A new deal has been linked to this task. And then we can use again a variable to showcase custom fields, related deal, and whatever is the value on that deal. So if we publish that rule, and now I'm going to create a new task in our project. And then we're gonna update the related deal to deal 1, for example, as well. Now our rule should trigger, and in a minute we shall see how we have a new comment outlining, well, there was no assignee on this task, so that will say no value. But in the comment, we'll see that we have the value of that task. So you see, hey, a new deal has been linked to this task, and it's showcasing private object over here because I don't think I have access to that the project where this live, or I only have view access. So that's the only reason. Otherwise, you would have the exact value on that comment. But interesting thing, as reference fields were added at the end of last year to now be able to use them as well in Asana rules. The next ones are some notable updates that we wanted to also let you know about. So the first one is the Asana app in Claude. If you use Claude, you are now able to turn Claude conversations into projects and tasks in Asana. This is a bit a more robust one than the Gemini one, because that actually allows us to create projects and tasks in Asana. So in a future webinar, we may show you how this looks like if you're interested about that. The second one is custom fields limit increase. So in the past, we were only able to have up to 100 fields in a project. We can now have 150 custom fields. So if you have a large and complex workflow that requires a lot of data entry points, you can be rest assured that you have now more fields to include. And finally, task types in sync bundles. So bundles are a feature in Asana that allows us to define the structure for our projects or our templates and quickly push it into multiple ones. They did support the task templates, but they didn't support specific task types. So now if you have created a specific task type that is not a regular task, a milestone, or an approval that may have different stages, you can now save your task type in your bundle and then add that task type across multiple projects and project templates in a matter of minutes. So that's the third one as well. And yeah, that's it for February's customer webinar. Thanks everybody for attending this session, and we'll see you in the next one.